I'm going to save you some time. The FiiO K13 R2R is one of the best values in desktop audio right now, and in all reality, this one might make it off your desktop into your main system. For $319, you're getting a device that really kind of has no business at this price. Not saying they should raise the price. I like a good value like anyone else, but it's sort of bullying everyone right around $300 right now. R2R conversion, enough power to drive difficult headphones, a 10-band parametric EQ that goes 5 steps beyond what's normally offered at this price, and a sound signature that makes you want to keep listening for hours. I know that sounds like a lot of hype, and it is, because it's actually all right to hype products that are worth it. One of my favorite parts of having this channel is when I find a product that's truly, it feels like it's a value buy. I get loads of good products in, there's no shortage of great designs, but it's a little more rare to have, great results along with a really reasonable price tag. This is the most affordable R2R DAC that I've ever tested, and I'm convinced it might be one of the better buys of 2025. The K11 that received a lot of positive reviews is still available and actually does feature the same R2R module that's on the K13. But as with most things, they stepped it up in several areas over the original. The K13 has a better PCB, higher quality caps, a much more powerful amp section, a remote, Bluetooth, a better power supply, and a lot more options for PEQ within the mobile app, as well as through your PC. The K11 still remains an excellent entry point for R2R. You're unlikely to find anything offering the same at its price, but the K13 did make some pretty notable improvements with the design, so in my opinion, it's a worthy upgrade. So for $319, you're getting a true 24-bit R2R conversion, 2400 milliwatts of balanced power, a really powerful parametric EQ with auto correction that has a growing library of headphones to choose from, Bluetooth 5.4 with LDAC, non-oversampling and oversampling modes, loads of digital inputs, 3 output options, 2 single-ended and an XLR, and the option to either run an internal power supply or bring in your own through the DC input. Which, just a quick side note there, it looks like FiiO plans to release their own power supply in the same form factor, so that might be kind of interesting to see how that plays out as well. Something I've noticed in the majority of FiiO gear, they tend to do the builds right. Even their budget designs really just don't feel like budget. The K13 keeps this trend going with a really nice aluminum chassis, a tempered glass window showcasing the internals, and more specifically that R2R resistor ladder. I feel like sometimes the lights and the windows, they can come off a bit tacky or gimmicky, but this one it's done pretty well, and I think it actually looks pretty cool. It should also be noted that if you're not a fan of all these lights, you can turn off the internal lights, the knobs, and the screen from 3 different places: the menu, the FiiO control app, as well as the included remote. On the front, it's just 2 simple but clean aluminum knobs on the sides for control. Each are multifunction, with the left entering the menu system with a brief hold, and the right handling volume as well as powering the unit on and off. Then on the front, we have the headphone outputs, that 4.4 and 6.35, and front and center is the display that's clear and actually pretty informative. The total package of this one really doesn't scream $300. Now let's talk about the sound, probably what you care about more than anything else here. The K13 R2R certainly has a personality, and I think it's a good one. It's a warm, organic, natural type sound that prioritizes musicality over that cold, surgical precision. It's not trying to dissect every recording and show you every flaw. Instead, it presents music in a way that's engaging and fatigue-free. Think less robot, more natural. And this isn't exactly the way this plays out, but one way to envision the difference is think about listening to vinyl compared to a CD. Both can be accurate, but vinyl just carries a bit of a different vibe. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean there. This should also come with the warning that sometimes I want that precision that a lot of Delta Sigma DACs cater to. But depending on what I'm listening to and my mood, who says we can't have both? But in non-oversampling, the K13 is that settle in with a beverage on a Friday evening type of sound. And it's not like the numbers are bad here. It might come across as that's implied based on the sound of the K13 versus a very transparent ESS DAC, for example. I'll post up the numbers here so you can see what I mean. What matters more here, in my opinion, is that sometimes we chase the whole pursuit of transparency just a bit too far. It wouldn't be hard to find a cheaper DAC that measures better, but that's missing the point with this design. This one makes you reach for the next album, not for the remote to reduce the volume. The magic comes from FiiO's R2R DAC implementation. Without getting too technical, R2R DACs convert digital audio differently than the Delta Sigma chips in most equipment. The result is generally a more analog-like presentation, smoother, more coherent, and less digital sounding. Think of it as kind of the difference between a high-resolution photograph and a painting. It could be the same subject, but they're certainly very different. So how did this operate as a standalone DAC? Connected to my system via the XLR outputs, the K13 R2R reveals what we came for. The DAC section has this thick sound, there's a warmth to the mid-range that it's absolutely soothing, and it's something that you could listen to for hours. That being said, this relaxed and smooth sound isn't going to give the impression of the most technically accurate DAC. It's simply not. For one, it's $320, so I'm not claiming it to be a world-beating design. And two, I don't think that was ever the intention. At this price point, it's a very convincing and musical design that never disappointed from a musical enjoyment standpoint. As for the headphone amplifier section, they really stepped it up over the previous K11, and I would imagine that's where some of this price increase is coming from as well. The K13 now uses OPA 1642 op amps and TPA 6120A2 chips in the amplifier stage. It's a proven combination that's used on several, other popular designs from FiiO, as well as brands like Topping. This took it from 1400 to 2400 milliwatts. An increase in power like this is going to be sufficient for most combinations. It's still not going to keep up with the K15 and K17 for raw power within their own lineup, but both of those come at a higher price point and possibly even cater to different crowds. It's a really good sounding headphone amp. I don't foresee any complaints on this one, but my use preference for the K13 is still likely utilizing the DAC section in a bigger system. But I would have no issues at all using this at my desk as a headphone amp as well as a preamp into a set of powered speakers. If you've been shopping the K15, K17, anything like that, even the Luxon X9, this K13 won't offer as much power or have the same library of connections and features, but it gets you really close in a lot of ways, and especially in the areas that matter most. The K13 has 2 DAC modes, and I personally feel like one is better than the other. Non-oversampling mode is where this one really tends to pay its bills. This is where you get that authentic R2R character that I would imagine a lot of you are shopping for. It's warm, organic, soft around the edges, musicality first type of sound. Something strange is it comes with the oversampling mode enabled, so make sure you go into the settings and sample which one you like best. I would imagine oversampling is enabled by default as it probably technically measures better. Speaking of oversampling, that mode is gonna tighten everything up. You're gonna have cleaner bass, a little bit more detail, but it sounds kind of like every other competent Delta Sigma DAC. You lose what makes the K13 special. I have a preference for the non-oversampling here, but it's actually nice to have both of these. Like I mentioned earlier, depending on what you're listening to, it may actually sound better one way or the other. My recommendation is to stay in the non-oversampling mode, as it's sort of what makes this product great. Save the oversampling for when you really need maximum resolution or analytical listening. Onto that parametric EQ. First of all, this is a very extensive EQ that you can access from the app or connecting directly from your PC. I found the FiiO Control phone app it works all right, but the direct connections to the PC offered more features and in general just operated a bit smoother. I played around with something similar on the Luxon X9, and for particular headphones it actually can be really beneficial, but like most things involving EQ, it starts to get really subjective when you start to play around with different EQs and curves. I mean, there's a lot you could change here if you really felt inclined to, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. I generally run this in bypass mode and typically let the speakers or headphones do their thing, sort of stand on their own, but occasionally a tweak here or there can improve your sound. Just don't go crazy with it. And if the EQ was a feature that really caught your attention on the Luxon X9, well, I guess here it is at half the price. On to the nitpicks. Nothing's perfect, and here's what I personally think could be a little bit better. The EQ functions within the FiiO Control mobile app are a bit limited in comparison to the direct connection to the PC. A little cleanup there in the app could go a long ways. The hardware is very strong on this one. The app side could just use a little bit more refinement. Also, there's no 12-volt trigger for automated power on and off with other components. I always like to see that. And I can't assign different EQ presets to different outputs. That'd be nice to see too. Are any of these deal breakers? No, I don't think so. But if FiiO releases a K13 Mark II, there's still a little bit of room for improvement here. So here's who I think is going to be the most interested in the K13. Maybe you want that R2R sound without spending $1,000+. It's not going to beat out the high-end designs in most cases, but it certainly won't disappoint at its price point and even, quite a ways beyond it. You might also consider it if you're sensitive to treble fatigue or digital harshness. If this is you, this may be exactly what you're looking for over some of the more common Delta Sigma designs. It could also be that you're looking for that one device that can drive any headphone. Well, this won't drive any headphone, it's realistically going to cover 90% plus of them with ease. And finally, you like the idea of having serious audio gear that doesn't break the bank. This is a perfect example of that. You also might skip this one if you prefer that analytical, detail-focused sound signature. There's lots of great Delta Sigma DACs out there, each having their strengths and weaknesses, but at the very least, this one has a very low entry point if you want to try R2R out. The FiiO K13 R2R is one of those rare products that makes you wonder how they did it at this price. It's not perfect, the software could be improved on the mobile and the web app, it lacks some quality of life features like a trigger, but these are minor complaints in an otherwise excellent product. This is a settle in and listen for hours kind of device. It won't wow you with exaggerated bass or sparkling highs. Instead, it presents music in a natural, fatigue-free way that makes you want to keep listening. If you've ever been curious about R2R DACs but didn't want to spend four figures, this is your entry point. At $319, the K13 isn't just a good value, it's another shift in what's possible for the budget-focused audiophile. We've been really fortunate in 2025 with some really big improvements in this space. I'm really looking forward to see how this trend plays out. Until we find the next high value win, this one might be the best $319 you'll spend on audio gear this year. Let me know what you think down below on the topic of budget gear improvements. Any particular device that really made a difference for you this year? And if you found any of this useful or at least entertaining, please consider dropping a like, comment, and a subscription. I always appreciate it. Take care, talk soon, later.